that she can still be on my show.
Well,
That's the most important
We've
thing.
been sharing bodily fluids and humans since, 1904.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yes, our
Yeah.
sharing goes beyond just
We don't
sound
know.
effects.
I don't know
We're sharing
where I
people
end
now.
and you begin, Bob Cesca. It's always been that way.
And Jody is learning valuable skills in the process.
Yes, she is.
So that's important too.
Yes. Bob, I see you tweeted, normals standing around here staring at each other. Are you going to leave? You first. Which place? I don't know. Come on. This place sucks. Let's go already. I'm waiting for everyone else, but we're all still here. So, a place. This is what's happening on X right now.
Yes.
You said I'm on all of the new platforms, but I hope the one that sticks isn't the one controlled by the Elon adjacent tech billionaire. It'd be like tunneling out of prison into another prison.
Exactly.
Exactly what it is.
You said what would posts be called on Dingus? Dingles? Dings?
Yeah, people were saying, because I used the word dingus. Am I even allowed to say that? I guess
I
what
don't.
you
Just
said
don't
it.
repeat it.
Can we say that
No,
on the
Chris,
radio?
Chris
Okay.
seems on the fence about it. I don't.
rather not.
Yeah.
Don't say the one with berries, but go ahead.
Okay. All right. Yes. Well, that was one of the suggestions for what posts would be called on if there was a social media platform called Dingus. And so we were trying to come up. I don't know how that happened. This is just the things that happen now that it's called X. And so I was saying, you know what? Why don't we have a social media platform that's called Dingus?
Yeah.
Then what would you call the tweets on that platform? And boy, there were a lot of fun suggestions. I think my favorite one is Dings, but the other one that we can't say on
Like,
the
what's
radio.
his name? Dings. We got so
That's
many
the best
dings.
The one with berries.
Yeah, more dings. Yeah.
Dings.
That's all the dings.
Lots of dings. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it was in the middle of my mom's decline and death, and I'm like, it's too much change. I can't. Travis leaving my mom. I'm like, I'm just sticking with Twitter for now. I can't figure anything else out, But
it's so dumb. It's
Yeah.
so dumb. You know what? This is like the Little Rascals trying to do like a social media platform.
Yeah.
They're like adults, but they're not exactly adults. They're kind of getting it right, but then
Yeah.
it's also super janky and nothing works. So and he wants to turn this into a global banking system where
Yeah.
more than half, or at least most of, the global banking happens on his X website.
right. Yeah.
He
sure.
can't even do tweets right without the whole thing blowing up. And he wants to be our latex salesman. That's what he said. I mean, it's horrendously ridiculous. And I don't know why someone hasn't pulled him aside and said, hey, Scooter, sit down.
Yeah.
Sit down, step away from the ideas, go blow up some rockets and some electric cars, and let us deal with the social media thing.
Yeah.
And so I have, I've had this conversation with many, many people trying to determine why Elon Musk is doing all these things. And there's a number of different options along those lines. One, I talked to Mary Trump, and Mary Trump was saying,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's because he wants to just destroy Twitter. And Kimberly agrees with her.
Yeah.
I believe that what Elon Musk is doing is much more nefarious. I think the coincidence of him taking over Twitter at about the same time that Donald Trump announced his run for president, again, is not just coincidence. I think there's something to that.
Yeah.
I think Twitter is being set up, or whatever the hell it's called now, is being set up for just this avalanche of Russian disinformation and pro-Trump agitprop.
Yeah.
It's going to flood the website between
Yeah.
now and Election
But
Day.
speaking of which, this is why I'm wearing my I Stand With Ukraine t-shirt today. Not only is Malcolm Nance on, but also the worst thing about this Trump era, damn you, I agree with Sean Hannity.
I know.
Yes.
Oh my God!
Did you
why?
see this? This RFK?
Oh my God.
Oh God! I can't believe I'm reading this transcript going, oh my God, what has happened? I'm sure Carlos Rocky has some thoughts on
I'm
this
sure
as
he
well.
does.
But yes. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. once again blamed the United States for Russia's invasion of Ukraine, this time in front of a Fox News studio audience that cheered his remarks.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
everybody, the streams are crossing. Kennedy has said NATO's expansion after the Cold War prompted Russia to become increasingly
No.
defensive and ultimately hostile. Really? And launch an unprovoked terrorist attack on Ukraine? Really? Oh
Yeah.
my God! So he has urged Biden to broker a peace deal. Obviously, Hannity. Oh my God. Hannity said, so to appease Putin, who I think is evil, they've already given up Crimea. It was annexed. So what? They have to give up the Donbass area? Kennedy said, well, Ukraine, because of our pushing Ukraine into the war on 2 occasions, Hannity said, we pushed them into it, or did Putin invade? I'm like, oh my God, don't make me love Sean Hannity, please. And he said, Kennedy said, we don't want peace. We want war with Russia. A substantial portion of the audience cheered at that point, and Hannity said, why are you blaming America's role in this? Oh my God, what has happened? All the streams have crossed.
Yeah, next you're going to hear RFK Jr. blame Ukraine for its short miniskirt and red lipstick.
Yeah.
Like it's like victim blaming. I love this. Russia invaded Ukraine.
Yeah.
Putin thinks that Ukraine is inherently part of Russia, and therefore he's reclaiming it for Mother Russia.
Yeah.
That's the sort of geopolitical aspect of all of this. It's also Vladimir Putin's mania and his adventurism that and his desire for Eastern Europe. I mean, if this had gone better for Vladimir Putin, if it hadn't been a complete dumpster fire for him, by now, and if Donald Trump had still been president, Vladimir Putin, we'd be talking about Vladimir Putin occupying Eastern Europe right now, too.
Yeah.
And so to euphemize this and to turn it into some kind of, Ukraine asked for it, is just one of the most ridiculous things in the world.
What you always talk about, Bob, how do we get to a place in the year of our Lord, 2023, where this crank, RFK Jr., this political tourist, could ever be considered seriously for president of the United States? Right? It's, this far left meets far right, wacky anti-vaxxer, pro-Putin universe that exists somewhere, right?
Yeah, it speaks to the short-term memory issues that a lot of Americans tend to have. And, at one point a couple of weeks ago when the whole anti-Semitism thing came up with RFK Jr., he tweeted something, an angry tweet, something about why are you trying to discredit me? And I responded to that tweet. I said, you were discredited 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It's only because of our short-term memories here in this country that people have started to re-examine your positions on vaccines. 15 years ago, we were done with RFK Jr. and this whole anti-vax business. Yeah. And it was thoroughly debunked, back in the 2000s. And so the fact that he's back and emerged along these lines, I think speaks to the level of disinformation out there, inaccurate information, false expectations. For example, why doesn't Joe Biden debate RFK Jr.? Well, that's never been a thing.
Yeah.
Never in the history of American politics has an incumbent president debated a primary challenger.
Yeah.
Because it's just math. It weakens the incumbent. The incumbent has to spend money on a primary challenger defending himself against the primary challenger.
Particularly someone that has been disavowed by their entire family and desperately clearly needs to get help, not be in a presidential primary. Anyway, so Bob, but I think we keep talking about, this being indictment week again, right? Mm-hmm. That, I guess it's, I think they did some polling yesterday, among Republicans, who's the strongest candidate? 70% Trump, 30% somebody else. I guess we should be happy because I think, it would be a landslide in the making for Joe Biden, but it's because of the factors we're talking about, Bob, that have suddenly become the RFKs, the Joe Manchin, the wild cards, the political tourists, the God knows what, what is happening. I mean, you've got a Fox News audience cheering a Kennedy and his, I don't even know what, pro-Putin talking points. What? It's hard to even tell what's happening, except we're just having an American nervous breakdown, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's a big part of it. It feels a little bit like Ernest Hemingway's Old Man and the Sea sometimes, if you're a Democrat, because here we are, the last grown-ups in the room, and we're doing things the right way, the way political leadership is supposed to operate. And at the same time, every time there's a big election right around the corner, which seems to be all the time, there are all these things that are taking chunks out of the chances for the grown-ups to actually win again and to expand majorities, which we desperately need to do because democracy is at stake.
Yeah, and you can
We're
see
not
the
just talking
replay.
About,
you can see the replay that, of course, Putin would help RFK Jr. just like he tried to help Bernie, because the whole point is to divide the Democratic Party and make it easier for Trump to get in. I mean,
Well, this is when I get down to my least popular opinion in the world, and it's actually not very popular with me either. And that opinion is shut down the internet. Oh my God, we wouldn't be in this place if it wasn't for the internet. The internet is actually, I mean, obviously there are lots of benefits, and this is semi-tongue-in-cheek, but the fact of the matter is the reason we're here, the reason there is so much disinformation, the reason why we're talking about whether Donald Trump should be president is largely because of the internet and our inability to digest information, this avalanche of information that we face every day. I forget who it was who said this at one point, but it used to be that human beings would only have to worry about like one crisis a year. Like, oh, one of our cattle wandered away and we have to find that cattle. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to feed our family. And it's going to be a long, cold winter of death and starvation. Now, every day, it's 100,000 problems that we face because of social media and then the misinterpretation of that by nefarious actors. It's just I think there needs to be some kind of reckoning along these lines before everything spirals desperately out of control. And I don't know what that thing will end up being. But.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Bless you.
Bless
Thank
you.
you. Okay. Don't say it 3 times like Beetlejuice.
Yeah, because then he might become president.
He is currently polling in the single digits, told Laura Ingraham that he is confident he will be the next president of the United States.
Sure.
Yeah.
I will win an Oscar.
He's at like 5%. I don't know. Trump's at 50 something. But I think that's the really Trump has created that really anyone can be president. So that's what I mean. Who knows? You know, how many other, as you call them, political tourists we're going to see before this thing is over.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest examples of Trump damage to American politics, as he gave the impression that anyone can do it.
Yeah.
And not anyone can do it. I always go to the metaphor, would you let Donald Trump fly your commuter jet from L.A. to Boston?
Yeah.
Would you allow
speaking of
someone
planes,
like...
what do you call it? Donald Trump, that's the other thing, was on Jeffrey Epstein's plane 7 times. It was just confirmed.
Oh,
yeah.
You know, in light of the fact that he has been ruled a rapist, I don't know if anything matters anymore. Someone was saying Kevin McCarthy, you forgot he had to drop out of his first speaker bid because he was cheating on his wife.
Right.
Isn't that quaint? The Republican Party, now it's practically a requirement because of, you know, how Donald Trump has just degraded this country, this party, right?
Yeah, well, it's really now, especially on the Republican side, it's all about exploiting rubes and suckers. And so they're able to get away with lots of things because they're flooding the zone with nonsense and crimes, and at the same time, they have managed to form this ideological political cult that no matter what they say, no matter what they do, these people are always going to be with them because however awful the crimes are, however, you know, terrible the sexual assaults and things like that are, they're always better than the demons that are running the Democratic Party. I mean, that's the message that Republicans are getting, that many of us are literal demons, if not shape-shifting lizard people.
Right.
Yeah, the Republican Party, Aaron Parnas tweeted, Kevin McCarthy discussing impeaching President Biden while giving George Santos a free pass and potentially expunging Trump's impeachments is peak hypocrisy. It's exactly why Democrats will take back the House in 2024. I hope so. But can I just say one thing, too? We talked before the break. This is a party with no principles. You have a wildly popular new podcast, Trek Politics with Mary Trump, and you're suspending it while the strike is still on, which really takes some principle. And the Bob Cesca show, by the way, remains wildly popular as well and is an intrinsic part of my day, I should say. But anyway,
thank you.
Good for you, and, you know, standing in solidarity with the strikers because, you know,
well, the thing is that we started the podcast just a month ago. So it seems a little awkward to be doing this now, but, you know, you can't time these things. They happen when they happen. And we think it's just a better thing to avoid promoting studio network projects while these actors and writers who enrich our lives through their entertainment and through their hard work are looking for better compensation and, quite frankly, issues that are larger than just Hollywood. AI, for example. I hope that coming out of this strike will give us some sort of regulations of AI.
Absolutely. Love you, Bob Cesca. Bob Cesca Show, Sexy
Love you best, Bob.
We love you. 50 minutes after the hour. One man, one alpha liberal can save us. Now look who's here. It's Cliff Schechter.
Yay!
Hey, guys.
Hey, Cliff.
Can I start
That's
off
entertaining, but there's a lot more of us here on Earth One than of those people, don't you think?
There are. I need to start off with something very quickly, though, and say